Home teams have not won a playoff game. That ended tonight in a big, bad way. Nuggets have never led 2-0 on the road and still haven't. Early on, a 12-point lead, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander probes the defense, a step back, buries it. On a night when OKC would shoot 56% from the floor, everything's going down. They're up 36-13. Isaiah Joe, all alone, in rhythm. Give me all three of these. It is a 45-21 lead after the first, plus 24 in the first quarter, their best in any quarter in the history of their playoffs. In the franchise's history, people in Seattle don't like when I bring it up. They used to be there. Seattle will have a team again someday, and they should. That's Cason Wallace in transition. Aaron Wiggins.
I like turtles.
It's all home team. Oh, there's a follow from Wiggins. 68-41. Let's run. Woo-woo-woo! Shai, Jalen Williams. OKC had 87 at the half, the most in any half in NBA postseason history. They nearly outscored Boston in a half. Leading by a lot in the third. There's Shai with the drive down the lane and just puts on the brakes just very casually. Hits the J. Another Shai bucket. It's a bounce back win by a lot. Here's SGA.
We knew what was at stake tonight. We came out desperate. We wanted to just take care and control the things that we knew we could, and we did a pretty good job of that, specifically to start the game. We clearly threw the first punch tonight, the first hit, and that's why we got to the start we did. It's just about trying to replicate that and adjust as they adjust and be a better team come game 3.
It is only one game, but it's interesting history and context here. It's the 23rd time since 1983 that a playoff game has been decided by at least 40 points. You'll remember what the Thunder did to the Grizzlies in the first round. All 22 of the previous winners also went on to win the series. Some NFL news, which continues in drips and drabs. The Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers agree to a trade which sends George Pickens to Dallas for a third-round pick. Cowboys also send a 27 fifth-round pick, and Dallas also gets a sixth coming the other way. Jeremy Fowler reports the Cowboys do not plan to extend Pickens' rookie contract, which enters into its final season. Now, the numbers for Pickens during his 3 seasons in Pittsburgh were all awfully similar. Handful of touchdowns, I believe it was 3, 4, and 5. Near or just above 1,000 receiving yards, roughly 60 catches. The ability is glaringly obvious. But so are his issues, which now have him on the list of Pittsburgh Steelers receivers who the team moves on from with Mike Tomlin as the head coach. You look at the list, most of whom did very little after leaving. However, Pickens is just 23 years old, and now he plays opposite CeeDee Lamb, who is one of the very best wide receivers in the game. I could look really dumb down the line, but I really like it for both Pickens and Lamb. I get the idea that it could blow up fantastically. It could, or it could really work. I'm saying it's gonna. We shall see. When we continue.
We didn't. Basically, it was one team playing tonight. Even the turnovers, misses, they were aggressive. They were going by us. They were rebounding the ball. They were just better. They were much better than us today, and that's the score. That's why the score is so bad.
Nicole, how do you deal with their physicality when they're? It seems like you're always getting called reaction. You personally reacting. How do you deal and kind of play through their physicality if they're going to let, especially the smaller guys?
Just try to fight for the position as best as you can, and deal with consequences.
And then you fouled out in the third quarter. I think that's the first time.
I don't think position was the problem. The other team scored 149 points. Tim Legler is with us. Let's go rapid fire here.
Yeah.
OKC won just one game, but they played to their ceiling. They remind us what that looks like. What do you make of this series based on tonight's result?
This was the OKC team I watched all year. They were much better on the boards, which Jokic just alluded to. They got dominated in the first game. They cleaned that up. But the other stuff, the fast break points, the points off turnovers, the pace, the efficiency, the depth, you saw it all. Now, you don't expect a 50-point playoff game, but OKC seemed like they were the one home team, Scott, that said enough's enough.
They did it for all of them.
They did it for all of these home teams that are losing games, and they did it in a big way. OKC has been the best team I've seen all year long, and they showed you tonight what they look like at their best.
You're heading to San Francisco to call games 3 and 4. The Warriors are going to be without Steph Curry because of the injury to the hamstring for at least a week. I started to ask, how do you win 3 more games without him? How do you win games at all without Steph Curry for Golden State?
Good news for the Warriors. What they've been hanging their hat on for the last 3 months is their defense. And that's going to keep them in games because Minnesota is susceptible to that. Their three-point shooting is very streaky. Golden State's defense is legit top shelf. The question is, how do the role players get open and score points with Steph Curry not on the floor, drawing all of that attention, which makes the game easier? I expect Jimmy Butler to be great. They're running the offense through him. But it's those other guys, Moses Moody and Pajemski, and maybe you get a sighting of Kuminga, probably going to have to play some minutes. How good is Draymond going to be? You watched the other night, the fourth quarter, we both talked about it. Desperate, Steve Kerr's please someone make a shot to stop this run. I got a feeling it's going to look a lot like that over these 2 games.
I think we both have the same thought, independent of being with each other. I'm like, 86 isn't enough to win. You better make a basket in the last 6 or 7 minutes. They finally did, and they got the win. They'll have to win without Curry. We all thought, all year in the East, Cleveland and Boston, that's who's playing for the Eastern Conference Finals. They're both down 0-2. At least in Cleveland's case, you could explain it to a degree because of injury. Is there a path back for them given what they are currently lacking due to the loss because of the injuries they've got?
I'm going to say no. I don't think they overcome this. And the injuries, we can't just dismiss it. An all-star caliber point guard, the defensive player of the year is also an all-star in Mobley, and then another guy who might be your overall best perimeter defender. So you now have a situation, 3 of your top 5 players aren't there. I don't know when they're coming back, but here's the caveat. They're playing a team that has probably over the last 2 years been the most underrated team in the NBA. Right. The Pacers are a really good team with an offense that can be unstoppable when they get rolling, and right now they are playing at that pace. And with the Cavs so shorthanded, losing 2 at home, I don't know how they recover from this.
And again, I think that's a 2-pronged thing. It's not just the people that are out for Cleveland. Correct. It's that Indiana, and I told you upstairs earlier, I was guilty of sleeping on them early this year because they didn't play well. Right. And it's like you forgot that they made it to the finals last year and competed of the Eastern Conference. I mean, they look like a wagon at the moment right now. It's going to be a lot for them to overcome. Speaking of wagons, we're not going to have you here and not get some thoughts. Commander Legler, the news that they're building on the RFK site, I've just assess, please. Where is Commander there? Do we have him? Do we
there you go. There you go. I might have to break that out at a game this year.
I will find you an outfit.
I don't want some cheap, Halloween superstore costume. I want a legit. You might have to contact the military to get something sent to my house.
I'll make some calls.
Yeah, because I might break that out if you do it.
All right, but in all seriousness, for old.